Hello, this is Mark Lloyd from Independent Arts, and today we're going to look at your iPad. You should have an iPad with you at the moment, supplied by Independent Arts. So we thought we'd make a little video to go with the handout that you've got, the little booklet you've got on how to use one of these, so we can start to see how excellent they are. So what we'll do today is just start looking at some of the basic options and basic sort of buttons and all the little tiny bits that we need to just get us on the road and get us going. So first of all, before we start looking at this and working through this little film, is we're going to have to turn it on to make it work. Now on the top of the iPad, if I spin that round, you can see a little button just there. Now if we just press that little button down, the screen magically turns to white or grey with a little black apple on it. Now, all that means when it's doing that is it's just starting up. So it's just thinking about what it needs to do to get itself ready for you. Now, what we have now is lots of information on there and a nice picture. This is the home screen. Okay, so this is kind of our desktop where we work. And on there you can see little different icons and little logos and bits and bobs, and we'll talk about those in a moment. Now, before you start using your iPad, the thing you really need to do is make sure you've got plenty of charge in it, because as you can see, this doesn't plug into the mains to use it, it's battery powered. And because it's battery powered, we need to make sure it's got plenty of charge in it for us to start exploring and having fun. Now, the way we check that is if we go to the top corner, the top right-hand corner, you will see a little battery icon, and next to it, it says 99%. And that means on this particular iPad that it's virtually fully charged and ready to go. A little tip, if yours is down to sort of 10 or 20%, it's probably a good idea to start charging it up and getting it up to nearer this sort of figure before you start doing anything, because you'll get carried away having fun and all of a sudden the battery will go flat on you, and that'll be quite disappointing. So how are we going to charge up our iPad ready for us to use it? Well, if we look at the bottom of our iPad, just here, there's a little slot. There's a little slot. And in that little slot, don't worry about that screen turning around, I shall explain that in a moment. We have this little fellow here. And this little fellow plugs straight into that slot. And on the other end of that cable is this. So, into the plug, into the iPad. And we can leave that for an hour or so to charge up, and we'll be ready to go. So keep an eye on this little icon here and you'll be okay. Okay. So we know our iPad's nice and healthy and it's got plenty of charge in it. So let's start looking at the different things we've got here and what everything will do. Well, as you can see, we have this nice bright desktop picture, this home page window picture. And on top of that are these little things on the top. And there's some at the bottom here. And these are called apps. We're going to look at some of these today, just a couple of these, just to get us going. So we'll look at those in a moment. Now it's just gone dull because it's going to sleep because I'm being too slow for it. So all we need to do is just give it a little tap. Now, with an iPad, we need to use our finger. And we need to use our finger to press these when we want them to work. But we also need to use our finger to swipe across, because then we can see even more. So we swipe backwards and forwards, left to right, will show us the different things that are stored on our home page or our home window on this little desktop area. So I'm going to swipe back to get me to this bit. Now let's have another little look around. Well, we know on here we have the charging indicator. We know we've got the on button. We've also got two little buttons on the side, and that is your volume up or your volume down. So if you're playing a film or watching something on here that has maybe me speaking on the video and you can't hear it quite clearly enough, you can always press these little buttons up or down to make the volume increase or decrease. Now, we also have a very important button at the bottom. And this button at the bottom is called the home button. So whenever we're doing anything, if we want to get back to this space, we want to get back to this home page or this home window, we press the home button just there. That will always bring us back to this. So that's our take us home button to this area here. And once we're here, then we can carry on searching through. Now, if you're working with your iPad, it's a bit clever, and it might be that you don't want to work like this, portrait if you like, this sort of regular book dimension. You may want to turn it so it's more landscape. Well, if we do, you might find that the picture will spin round for you. So whichever way you turn the iPad, the picture will rotate to suit you. Some people prefer to work this way, others this way. It will move for you. So don't worry if things start spinning around. You hold the iPad however comfortable you are. But just remember where your buttons are the things you need. So the home button there and the volume buttons on the side. Okay, so let's have a look at a really simple but great fun thing we can do today on the iPad. Well, as I said, we have these little icons here, and if I swipe over with my finger, as we just did before, you'll see more of them. These are little things called apps, short for application. And they are little programs or little bits of software that when we press on them, it will start it running. So it's like a little toolkit, if you like, or a little library of fun things you can access. Now, the thing we're going to access today that's really good fun is this one here called the camera. Now, with the camera, we can obviously take a picture. Now, the iPad is very clever because if we spin it round so you can see the reverse, there's a little tiny camera just there. Little tiny camera there. And that's going to take some wonderful pictures for you with a little help from you. And there's also a little tiny camera there, which I shall explain why that one's there in a minute. Okay, so how do we get to the camera? Well, we need to press this button here. There. Now you can see everything that's being filmed from the camera on this side. So this is what your camera looks like. So on here, you have the area that it's going to take a picture of, because it will fill that area. And we have some little bits on the bottom here we need to look at first. So to take a picture, we need to make sure that that's on photo. If we want to film something, we just change it to video. But we'll look at videos later on. We're going to look at just taking a photograph today. So we're going to put that back on photograph. So we just need to make sure that says photo. Now, obviously to take a photograph, we need a subject. Now, if we're using the camera that's facing away from us, you can see my finger now, it's going to take a picture of whatever we shoot on here. Well, some of you may want to take a selfie, a photograph of yourself. Now, to do that, we have a little button there. Now, do you remember I said there's a camera at the top? Well, if I press this button here, it will flip it round, so this camera is being used. And what that means is you can see me. Hello, Mark. But we don't really want to see me. We want to see something more beautiful. Now, we need something to take a picture of. So I'm going to use this cup. I'm going to use this cup. So what we need to do is position our iPad in front of the object so we can get a nice shot of what we want to get in there. So we've got all of this screen to fill. As I said, it makes it nice and big and easy for you to see what you're taking a picture of. Now, if we just tap in the middle, you can see a little yellow square. And all that's doing, wherever you tap, it's going to focus and concentrate the focus there. So it's just helping the camera to pick up the middle of the picture, really, and make it sharpest point. So to take a picture, what you need to do now, can you see this white button here? Well, if we press that white button, that takes the photograph. And I know it's taken the photograph because I can see a little version of it just there. So we could take a photograph this way. We could make it landscape. And I'm going to just try and get that in there. So I've now got two photographs. It takes a little bit of practice to get in and out with your iPad and where's close enough and too far away. If I move that out of the way, you can see if I do it this way, it's just going to take a bit of trial and error for you to get comfortable with holding the camera. But it's easy. It's easy. We just point it at what we want to take a photograph of and press that button. Okay, so we've got our picture, we've taken our picture. Now we need to come out of the camera mode and go and look for our picture and maybe some of the other pictures that we've taken. So what we're going to do you remember I said if we press the home button, this will take us back to our original screen? Well, let's press that. There, and that's the camera turned off. Still there for you to use again, but we've just turned it off for now. So now what we're going to do is look at our photographs, our collection of photographs. Now, can you see next to the camera is this lovely little rainbow picture here? Now, if we press this one, this will take us to our electronic photo library. So all the pictures that we've taken with our iPad should be in our little photo library there. So let's press on that and have a look. Well, if we look here, you can see lots of photographs that have been taken on this iPad. Now, I think these two look like the ones we may have just taken. So if we want to see them bigger, because you can see the whole collection there, if you want to see them bigger, all you have to do is just press on it. There. And there is the photo that I took, landscape. That was the last one I took. We took that one landscape opposed to portrait. So that's not looking too bad. Now, if we want to look at some of the other pictures on there, if you look in the top left-hand corner, there's a little blue pointer, a little blue arrow. If we press on that, that's taking me back here. So let's try that again. Onto the picture. Have a look at it. Arrow takes me back. So what I can do now is press on that one. Let's try that again. There, that's what I wanted, a full screen picture. So that's the one I took, portrait, which fills that screen a lot better. So we've now got 2 pictures. Well, I'd like you to try this now. I'd like you to find something you want to take a photograph of and just experiment. Now, I'm just going to go back to the camera and give you one little bit of advice. So I'm going to press the home button now because I need to find the camera. And this is my bit of advice. When you find something that you want to take a photograph of, when you do press the button to take the picture, this button here, just press it once, just a little dab like that. Because if you hold your finger on it, you're going to have a hell of a lot of photographs of the same thing because it will go on a great big stream of photographs. So we just need to do one little quick tap with your finger. And then we can go back to the home button, back to photographs, and then we can see the picture I just took. Remember, arrow at the top takes us back to the menu. I've just taken these last 3 photographs. So I'd like you to try that. So have a practice, have a play, see how you get on. Now, I'm going to leave this now. So I want to go back to my home button at the bottom. Let's try that again. I'm going to press it firmly, Mark. That's what we need to do, press it firmly. Now we've got to turn it off in a bit. So that's kind of your home screen we're back to. And we're going to look at turning it off. Okay, so we've all had a little bit of fun with our iPad. And now it's time to give it a rest. So we're going to give this little thing a bit of a breather now and put him to sleep for a while. Now, we've got to do this in a similar way to when we turned it on. So to turn off your iPad, we're going to go to the button in the top right-hand corner. We're going to press it down. We're going to press it down until we see this little thing appear here on the screen. And we're going to grab our finger that we've been swiping with, and we're just going to swipe to one side. And that will turn our iPad off. And then we can put it away for another day. It's all switched off. Now, hopefully, you're going to go away and practice now and have a bit of fun with your camera. And look out for another video because we're going to give you some more and help you explore your iPad a little bit further. So I've been Mark Lloyd, and thanks again for watching.